Right, welcome. This is 50,000 mile review of my Renault Zoe, 41 kilowatt hours, battery owned. And if you haven't seen it already, you can go back and check the previous videos from the day I purchased it and prior to me purchasing it. If you want to go back further, you go to Nissan Leaf territory for 4 years, which is the first electric car I owned. So you can see that on the channel. Check out the videos below. Just click on the channel name and then you should be able to go back to pretty much the oldest video on this channel. So about 2013, 2014, something like that. Anyway, Renault Zoe now has had its second MOT, which means it is 3 or 4 years old? Well, I can't remember. That's great, isn't it? That's a good start. It's about 4 years old, might be 5 years old. One of those two. Comment below if you can figure that one out more than the owner knows. But is it 50,000 miles? Well, 49,818 miles. The last MOT set me back quite a bit because the lower ball joints went, which in turn damaged I think it was the wishbones on the front. The whole bill was about £850. Oh, so that was a disastrous first MOT for the Zoe. But moving on to this year's marginally better. So I paid for the MOT, nothing you can do about that, £47. It failed. It failed on a front number plate, it failed on a rear number plate, and it failed on a sticky brake on the near side rear. And it was stripped and cleaned, both rear brakes by all accounts. MOT and retest, nothing. The labour was £75 plus VAT, so 90 quid. The brake cylinder was replaced at a cost of £26, including VAT, so that's a bargain. They said it's probably the same as a Clio, not sure if that's true. And a replacement of brake fluid. That bill came to £131 plus the £47, so we're about 180 quid, 170 quid, just over, almost, yeah, around about that mark for this year. So it's got 12 months back on it. So yeah, I paid £1,000 worth of repairs in the last 2 years. So interesting to note, but very happy with this Renault Zoe. No issues at all, apart from those couple of things. Now the lower ball joints, of course, is really because of the terrible road conditions we have around here. Just awful. They could take an absolute hammering. There's potholes everywhere, you can't avoid them. So that's largely to blame. I suspect if you're in a nicely sort of tarmacked area, you probably won't get those issues. Comment below if you have had those same issues. But no, been working flawlessly, apart from little niggles like the charge timer and stuff like that. Not had any issues. Still love the car. It's just a utility for me. It's like a washing machine, like I said before. It's just, I got the cheapest model you could get, except for the fact I got reversing camera, which has gone a bit faded. So the actual camera itself has sort of gone grayscale to a degree. It's not quite, but it's not as crisp as it used to be. So there's only that. Still visible though. All the sensors and stuff all still work. Spot on. The only thing I would say is I would like the headlights to be a lot brighter than they are as standard. But maybe you are going to buy one of these second-hand, possibility. The used price of this car at the moment is not far off the price I pay for it brand new, almost unbelievably. So yeah, it's held its value, but I think you can't take that with a pinch of salt because it's artificially, but it's been like that now for the last year or two basically. So from that point of view, it's held its value well, it's performed well, minus a stupid roads being so bad it's, you know, wrecked it. We've had that on other cars as well. It's not just this one, as in over that same period. Mum and Dad just had something done there, Nissan Leaf. So yeah, keep all that in mind. But other than that, that's the MOT for this year update, the second MOT it's had in its life, and keep that in mind. And my report back on it: great utility little vehicle, is cheap and cheerful, and in winter I'm getting 120 miles out of it, summer about 150. It's just still performing absolutely fine. Brilliant value for money. Highly recommend it if you've got a family, dirty boots and stuff going in here, and you don't want to spend £60,000 on a Tesla. This has been a great middle ground budget, poor man's version of an electric car. and it's held its value also. So that's kind of like the summary of it, really. Spot on. And in hot off the press, my boy turned 17 in January, and I've been looking for an electric car, but I gave him a promise when I bought this car that when he turns 17, you know, 4 or 5 years time at the time, he can have this car for £2,000. What I didn't know is it'd be worth almost the same as I bought it for, so about 14 grand, something like that, around about that. I bought it for 16,250, if you remember. But it's going to be sold to him for £2,000, and he's going to learn to drive in it. And also he needs to learn in a manual as well, if he's going to take his manual test, but we're debating that. But this is going to be his car in the very near future, and I have got another vehicle coming, so watch out for that video. And so we will be a 3-person EV household. I remember back when I started these videos, we had 1, and we were trying to shoehorn our way into sort of the trajectory of having 2. So me and my wife Amy had a car each that was electric, and there wasn't much choice at the time back in that year, 2014ish, and now we're looking amazingly at a 3 EV household. So subscribe if you want to stay up to date with that as well, and what my next vehicle will be. Try and guess below. I doubt you're going to guess. I'll be amazed if you will. But there we go. And that is that. And I will see you on the next one.